We should be lovers instead.
I know what you say, cause you really my dearest friend.
Wanna ruin our friendship. What's up, guys? How to express your feelings like a pro. A lot of people tell you that it's important to be honest. It's important to express your feelings to other people. It is fundamental that humans need to express themselves, and you are always kind of encouraged to be honest with how you feel, what you are thinking, what you want from the other person, to express your needs and your desires so that you don't keep it in and become resentful. But nobody really teaches you how to express your feelings, and you always feel this kind of fear, this kind of need to withhold and withdraw and never share your feelings and your wants and your needs and desires, because there's still a lot of skepticism behind being vulnerable. And you don't know how to express your feelings in an honest manner, but also whereby you are not being overly expressive, you are not emotionally dumping and not saying more than you need to, and oversharing. So it's so hard for you to face this fear and start to express yourself honestly and genuinely without risking doing it wrong. And you're afraid you do it wrong, so you never ever kind of push this boundary. You never build up your resilience by practicing and facing your fear. And I think learning how to express yourselves sounds like something that is very unnecessary and weird, that you have to follow some sort of rules in order to just express yourselves. But I think it really helps, especially for us who are more fearful people who didn't have the chance to be integrated into society when we were younger, and now we're relearning how to do it. Having some rules and having some instructions to follow and to think about can actually really help us to just stick to those guidelines, so that when we are afraid of opening up or being more vulnerable, we can lean into this kind of guidelines and these instructions in order to reduce that friction that is stopping us from expressing ourselves and being more open with how we are feeling. One of the biggest things we struggle with is when expressing ourselves, we almost find it to be performative. We are afraid that it becomes something that burdens the other person. We're afraid that it is too heavily filtered in order to kind of control how other people see us. And why we feel like we have to filter and strategically express ourselves is because we have the need to seek approval, and we are afraid that we are a burden for commanding a need for attention and to be heard. We are afraid of burdening other people with our need for assistance or our need for attention and presence. Then because we have that thought, because we feel like if we have needs and desires, if we want someone to listen to us, if we command attention towards us, then we are being needy. We're going to waste their time, waste their effort and capacity, eventually push them away from us, because it will mean that we're not a valuable person to be around, since we are wasting their time. And we're afraid of that. We're afraid that our needs and wants will push people away. But the reality is, we need to program our brains to understand that these needs and wants and expressing them is not a bad thing at all. It is only a bad thing because we have habitually convinced ourselves for it to be a bad thing. Like, let's say our friend tells us something that they genuinely need or genuinely want, or a problem that they are genuinely dealing with. We're not going to find them to be a burden or think they're emotionally dumping. We're going to be honored that they shared that with us and they trusted us with those problems, and be happy to help them, and be happy that they've given us the chance to help them. That's how we're going to feel. But why is it that when we have something to share, we start to feel like, oh, now we're burdening them, now we're going to push them away, now they're going to think we are valueless and don't know how to handle our own problems? Expressing our needs and wants are the catalyst for better connections, better bonds and relationships, because it is finally a true expression of ourselves when we do honestly express our needs and wants, and that creates for true connection with the other person, because now not only do you trust each other more, you also grant them the honor of being there for you, the chance to show their loyalty to you and their care for you. And because you are honest, to feel like a part of your real self has been accepted and validated, and people show up for you even when you need and want things. And it is this reprogramming that we have to go through over a long period of time. And it's okay. We got to be patient with ourselves, and we got to put ourselves out there. Having needs and wants and wanting company and wanting someone to listen to you doesn't make you any less of a person, doesn't make you any more inferior. It actually complements you as a person more, makes you less resentful, makes you less needy because you have your needs met. And it also gives you more stories to tell, more chances for people to be there for you, so you have more chances to make wonderful connections. So After discussing that, let's talk about how we can actually open up about our feelings and how being more honest looks like, how being more expressive looks like. When you're dealing with something, you tend to withdraw, you tend to shut in, you tend to keep it to yourself, spend more time at home alone, thinking that you need to recharge and think through it. And then after that, a thought comes in your mind that it would be nice if you could talk to someone about this. It would be nice if you had some company. And you go into thought circles, reminding yourself how lonely you are, how you have no one to turn to, how you help everybody, but no one helps you when you are in need. But guess what? Nobody knows you are in need. And besides that, you have created this relationship by your own choice, whereby you don't turn to anyone when you need something, expecting them to just know and come look for you. And you pride yourself on being this guy who has been there for everybody's needs and wants, who has sacrificed his own time and capacity. Then when you are alone and nobody knows you're struggling with anything, you've always withdrawn yourself to the point where they think you're uninterested in them and you don't care about being with them and you don't want their company. But really, it's because you withdraw yourself because you're afraid that you're going to push them away when you ask for their company. So it becomes this really, really strange kind of self-sabotage where you secretly pray for relationships, thinking that you not telling anybody about your problems and instead always listening and always being there for other people's problems is what can maintain your relationship and also improve your relationship, because you are needless and wantless and you always serve other people. But really, because you don't go after your needs and wants, people think you don't trust them. You have no interest in letting them know these things. You don't like them as a person. And then they start to doubt whether they are burdening you or not, to the point where they start to withdraw from you. So it creates this really strange self-fulfilling prophecy, this paradox of push and pull, mouse and cat and mouse kind of game, where because you don't prioritize your needs and wants, because you don't dare to go after them, because you don't dare to show that you desire somebody's company or show interest in anybody, what that did is actually ruin your relationships. What that did is destroy the potential strong bonds you could have had instead of keep that person around. So our idea that our needs and wants pushes people away is actually completely opposite. We have developed this kind of paradigm from our past experiences, how we grew up. Whenever we had needs and wants, our parent figure or whoever who was in charge of us started to distance themselves, and we felt like our needs and wants were the problem for that. We are afraid that our needs and wants push people away, reduce the love that we receive. But really, it is exactly what is pushing other people away. So let's learn how to express ourselves. To be able to express yourself, it takes a long time of kind of working up the safety with the other person. And this amount of safety that you need in order to open up, in order to feel more comfortable in conversation, in order to perform less, can fluctuate based on many different factors. We need this safety in order to open up, understanding that we won't push them away even when we express our needs and wants, understanding that our authentic self doesn't make us any less deserving of love. And there's many things that we can do to kind of improve our skill at expressing ourselves and understanding that nobody will fly away from us if we have needs and wants. The first is to surround ourselves with more secure people. People who don't play attention transaction games, people who aren't overly insecure, who have strong relationships, who are optimistic about life, have no fears of going after your company, of being there for you, of seeking out your problems from you, and sitting there and listening to you with full presence and being secure about it. These secure friends are very hard to find because as an insecure individual ourselves, as somebody who is more withdrawn and reserved and afraid of burdening other people, it is hard for us to find these people because we're not very open, so it's harder for us to create the bonds with these people. But when we do find a very secure person that sticks in our life and seeks out our company when we need it, it lets us kind of open up and feel safe around them, because we realize that since they are secure, they don't start to withdraw themselves randomly, they show their interest consistently. When we have needs and wants, and we covertly express them in gay ways, they can see that and understand us and sit with us and be patient and have the capacity to listen and manage our feelings for us. And we find these secure people as an insecure individual by becoming more competent and putting ourselves out there. Because it is very hard for us to get to know these competent people as somebody who is incredibly incompetent. Can you imagine if you spend all your time playing video games, eating junk food, and stroking your bum all day? Why would these secure people want to be around you, right? They would want to be with other people that also supplement their life, that boost their own vigor towards life instead of somebody who might drag them down. So what you can do to provide value to other people is to become more competent in certain skills, in the things you are passionate about, in yourself as a person holistically, by improving your ability to make decisions and your judgment, by giving yourself more responsibilities and making more mistakes and putting yourself out there willingly with courage. People can see that when you start to give yourself self-investment, when you start to put in effort into yourself, when you start to build up skills instead of spend all your time on instant gratification. People can see that difference. So how you're going to start by building the capacity to be able to express yourself and be a more honest person is to put yourself out there more and get better at something. Improve your health, improve your mental capacity, get better at skills, start to look better, start to pick up more responsibilities so you have more chance to prove who you are as a person and how you can manage difficult situations. Then as you do that, you'll notice that you get more attention from secure people because they want to be around somebody who is competent. And as you do that, that's how you start making more secure friends. Then as you make secure friends, you will start to build a safe support circle where you feel safer around because they have consistently shown you love and affection and kind of help you heal your trauma a little bit. This fear that you will push people away when you need something or want something, because these secure people would show you so much safe and secure attention and love that you will start to feel like, okay, even when I test the boundaries, even when I show a little bit of my needs and wants or become a disgusting individual by covertly expressing the things I want and need in really weird ways and withdraw all the time, they are still with me. They still care about me. They still actively seek me out. And with these secure people, it's exactly how you start to heal. Now, of course, this is not the only way. You don't have to be entirely dependent on other people, but this is just such a good way. And never feel any shame from depending on other people. This is how it works. This is interdependency. No human has made it completely alone. As much as you are Batman, Batman has an Alfred, Batman has a Catwoman, Batman has a parent figures in his head that he can remember as kind of a leading figure, even though they are already dead. Batman has Lucius Fox. Batman has his company where he has a shit ton of resources. Even Batman can't do it alone. Batman has Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, Commissioner Gordon. No one can do this shit alone. There's no shame in being interdependent. This is how we work. This is how we function. Now with this safe and secure people, you can start to push your boundaries and say things to them that you are ashamed of. Even though you're afraid of losing them, you say things that you are afraid that will push them away slowly over time. You open up about it. You push yourself to do those things. Like, for example, simple things like, farting around your friends, burping and shit, and being imperfect in front of your friends. It sounds very weird, but it actually will help you feel less shame, because typically nice guys are terrified of showing bodily functions. Nice guys are also afraid of being sexual or horny or things like that. They're afraid of being honest with their sexual desires with their friends. Like simple things like that you almost have a little bit of resistance towards. Like, it's almost shameful to be wanting sex or wanting attention from females or things like that. But when you find that you start to be honest with your safe friends, you actually feel more comfortable in your own skin and realize that your needs and wants aren't going to push these people away. Then you start to make more suggestions, disagree with people that you can trust. And from there you realize that even though you tried so hard to hide all your needs and desires, when you do express them, even though you are ashamed of them, for some reason people don't give a fuck and they still love you. In fact, they start to love you more and feel more connected to you because now you're being honest with them. And when you're feeling a certain way, here's how we actually express our feelings. When we want to set boundaries and tell somebody how we feel about something, don't say, "You are making me angry." Don't orient your speech to focus on the other person, but rather take responsibility for how you feel and look internally. So instead of saying, "When you do this, you make me angry," I feel like you are trying to take advantage of me. Like, when you open up like that, it's still in a small way trying to kind of hide what you are feeling specifically, because you're directing it to the other person. Instead of saying, "You are making me angry," say, "I feel angry." Pay attention to what you are feeling in your own mind and body, because it is very common for us to start to get defensive, start to push blame, start to be ashamed of our own feelings, and that's why we have to associate it to the other person or attribute it to another person. There's a small little bit of shame within us which starts to remind us that feeling things makes us the sensitive one, makes us the one at fault, makes us the needy person. And because of this shame, we start to hide things, we start to defend ourselves, avoid responsibility for our own feelings, and that is just a terrible thing to do. So try to begin feeling statements with "I" rather than "you." Like, "I'm feeling helpless and frightened. I feel embarrassed when you do this. I feel ashamed when this happens. Try to avoid saying, I feel like you, ... The goal when expressing yourself is to be honest and to bounce off how you feel with other people. Because the reason we struggle with this is because of a lot of hidden shame. And there's a lot of ways that we covertly hide how we feel, like in little ways such as saying you're fine when you're not, saying you're busy when you just don't want to go, agreeing to things when you don't want to agree to it. Little people-pleasing manners which are symptoms of being ashamed of how we genuinely feel and what we genuinely want, and being afraid that if we don't make that sacrifice and go and soothe and appease the other person with our decisions, then we're gonna lose them and people are gonna hate us and think we are trash cans. But this fundamental shame of having needs and wants and feeling certain ways is just what is holding us back from expressing ourselves. So we have to slowly push this boundary of fear. Express your feelings for yourself and not the other person. People want to get to know you more, and it's completely fine for you to make it about you. The more you're able to test the waters, test the boundaries of how far you can go with things that you have preconceptions that would chase people away, and realizing that they will stay with you either way, and realizing nobody really takes love away from you. Even though you don't do every small habit that you've kind of fostered to seek approval, to make sure nobody's angry, to make sure you don't offend anyone, and people still love you, people still stick with you, then you're going to realize that this facade and performance you've been putting on all these years in order to hide your feelings and your genuine needs and wants have all just been a waste of time and have all just been, destroying your potential relationships. So the faster you're able to be honest, the faster you're able to express your needs and wants with non-neediness and understanding that you have secure friends waiting for you, and your needs and wants and your feelings were never the reason why people strayed away from you in the first place. So be honest and express yourself. You got this. I love you. 这边都